Welcome back and thank you for staying with eNCA. Now, the Nulane investment fraud trial continues in the High Court in Bloemfontein today. The case is against 3 Gupta associates linked to Nulane investments and 3 former senior Free State officials. Yesterday, the court heard that the Provincial Agriculture Department did not register a public-private partnership before it paid 24.9 million rand to Gupta-associated company. Now, eNCA reporter Moloko Moloto is following the trial for us and he joins us now live from Bloemfontein. Moloko, yesterday there were some developments with regards to the witness currently on the stand. He had to go fetch documents, I believe, that he needed to actually present in court. Are we expecting those documents to be presented today?
Good morning, Mr. Ratlaga. Well, the witness you are referring to is Mr. Ginosi Tubisi. He is a senior clerk within the Provincial Agriculture Department. He's the one who says he was instructed to put together a payment package for the request, according to the invoice at the time, was a request to pay 5 million rand, but the department paid 4 million rand. And he, during the cross-examination, the defense asked him about who exactly wrote the affidavit, your affidavit, and he said that he dictated and certain officers from the Hawks, police officers, then typed it. And it was then that the defense asked that he give them the name of that particular police officer, and he did not have it. He said he can only have the name of that police officer if he has access to his work email, and he was asked to go to the workplace. He came back without that particular name yesterday. He was then told to bring it to court this morning. When he arrived in court this morning, he said he is still battling to find that particular name, and as a result, the court then said, you will stand down as a witness, you will come back on the 9th of February, make sure you have that particular name, because the defense has made it clear that the name of that particular police officer who typed his affidavit is very important for them, for a point that they would want to argue in court. As I speak to you now, the court has adjourned for a tea break. It will be back in session at 11:30. But on the stand and before this adjournment was another senior government official, Mr. Takisi Masiteng. He is the current head of the Agriculture Department. Now, Dr. Masiteng started by outlining the processes of the merger of the 2 departments, agriculture as well as the rural development. The 2 departments at some point were headed by Mr. Peter Tabete, who is accused number 1, and Dr. Dimakatsomoros, who is accused number 2, and those departments were merged. And then he went on to talk about the department's supply management policy, which was adopted in 2004. Among other things, it says that the accounting officer, which is the head of the department, can actually appoint a service provider to provide a service or procure a good on emergency basis, or if the service is required urgently, or if that service provider is the only one in the country who can provide that particular service. And that particular supply chain management policy of the department is saying that poor planning cannot be used as an excuse for the accounting officer to procure a service on urgent basis. And you would recall that the state is arguing that Nulane Investment, a company linked to the Guptas, was appointed without issuing out a tender, meaning people did not bid for that particular contract. And the issue of its expertise is now being questioned by the state, because it is not the one that did a feasibility study, despite the fact that it was appointed to conduct that feasibility study. Instead, it outsourced that service it was appointed for to consultancy firm Deloitte. Now, the state is arguing that there was no reason for the department head, Mr. Peter Tabete, to appoint Nulane Investment. He had to issue out a tender. Now, just before adjournment, the defense attorney for Mr. Tabete, that is Mr. Dan Mancha, was on the podium or was on the stage essentially cross-examining this Dr. Masiteng, trying to say to him, look, I put it to you that as much as you are talking about that supply chain management policy of the department that was adopted in 2004, there was actually another policy. That particular policy was reviewed in 2014 or so, and at that time it was reviewed in 2009 according to Mr. Mancha, and in 2011 when this Nulane company was appointed, the impression he's creating is that that old supply chain management policy was no longer effective. And of course the judge then said, look, it's 11 o'clock, maybe let's come back after 11:30 to take this cross-examination further.
All right, then let's let you go, Moloko. I think it's 9 minutes to 11:30. I don't want you getting into trouble with the judge. Moloko Moloto, live for us in the Bloemfontein High Court.